R. Sugaraj Samuel. He is working as a professor in physics at New College, Chennai. He is also training students for IIT JEE, AIEEE and BIT SAT. He has more than 16 years experience in both teaching and research. He has published a book titled The Complete Handbook of Bachelor of Electronic Science Practicals, which is prescribed for the syllabus for BSc Electronic Science by University of Madras. He has presented papers in several national and international conferences and has also conducted many training programs and workshops to motivate energetic students. His research areas are ultrasonic, polymers, crystal growth, and photovoltaic systems. He is experienced in both regular classroom teaching and online teaching as well.
Welcome to UGC lecture series on oscillations and waves. We have been listening to a series of lectures on the subject oscillations and waves. We are in the phase of waves. In this lecture, we are going to see some of the concepts which would give the equations pertaining to the waves. Before we start the lecture, let us see the session outline for today's lecture. We are going to see the concept of particle velocity and wave velocity, then differential equation representing a wave, the energy of a progressing wave, and also the term called intensity of a progressing wave. We know wave is the one which advances in a particular direction. At the same time, the particles which are involved in making the wave propagate in a particular direction, they also have a kind of motion. If that motion, that vibration is perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the wave, then it is called a transverse wave. Again, if the particles move in the direction of the wave in the to and fro manner, then it is called longitudinal wave. So, there are two velocities existing when we consider the wave that is progressing in a particular direction. The first one is very obvious for us. It is the wave velocity. With what velocity the wave advances or progresses or propagates, different terminologies like this we can use. But what is the velocity with which the wave propagates? That is called as the wave velocity. We know the equation for the wave velocity. V is equal to nu lambda. Nu is the frequency of the wave and lambda is the wavelength of the wave. This simple equation we have learnt in the earlier lectures. But apart from this, there is one more velocity that also should be taken into account, that is the velocity of the particles which are participating in making the wave progress. The wave velocity mostly will be a constant value. If the medium is of a homogeneous nature, then the wave will propagate with a constant velocity. But the particle velocity, when we consider, it is a changing one, ever changing one. At the extreme position it is 0 and the mean position it is maximum, and that too the direction of the velocity of the particle also varies depending on the two types of waves, namely the transverse wave and the longitudinal wave. Let us see the expressions pertaining to this particle velocity and the wave velocity. Let us have a look at the equations. Particle velocity is the velocity of the vibrating or oscillating particles. This velocity is not constant, it is a varying one, and these equations are very familiar to us. The V suffix p, the suffix p represents, it is the particle velocity, is equal to omega square root of a square minus y square. Here a is the amplitude and y is the instantaneous displacement, and this equation is the equation in terms of the y displacement. On the right hand side we have the equation pertaining to the same, but in terms of time, it is omega a cos omega t. These equations are very familiar to us. Now, let us see what is the wave velocity. It is the velocity of the phase of the progressing wave. This velocity is a constant as far as the medium is a homogeneous medium, and here Vw, the suffix w represents, it is the wave velocity, which is nu lambda, which could also be written in terms of the angular frequency and also the wave number like this. And this is a constant velocity. As long as the nu and lambda are constants, the wave velocity will also be constant. Hope you could understand the difference between the particle velocity and the wave velocity. They are two different entities, but there is a relationship between the two. The term omega is common for both. What is the frequency, angular frequency? Omega, with which the vibration is happening, the same angular frequency omega is appearing in the expression for both particle velocity and the wave velocity. So, using that term omega, we can find a relationship between the particle and the wave velocities. Let us do that here. The relation between the particle and the wave velocities could be clubbed together with the frequency omega. This is the particle velocity and this is the wave velocity. We can mix them up. The relation is this lengthy expression. Here on the left hand side we have the particle velocity Vp and the wave velocity Vw appears on the right hand side. This is in terms of the displacement y, and similarly we can have see these two are related. We can have a relation between the Vp and Vw in terms of time also. Instead of y, we will have the time. By suitably varying the terms, we can have that also. So, here also the Vp and Vw are related. So, these are the relations we have as far as the particle and wave velocities are concerned. Now, we have established the relationship between the particle and the wave velocity through the term angular frequency omega. Now, we are going to learn a new module, that is how to express the wave motion in terms of the differential equation. It is the most general way of writing the wave equation. We have already written lots of equations. One is the wave displacement relation, y is equal to a sin omega t minus kx or plus kx, like that. We have established all the relations in the earlier lectures, and also the expression for wave velocity in terms of the characteristics of the wave, like frequency and wavelength. V is equal to nu lambda. That is also a wave equation for the velocity of the wave. Now, we are going to establish a relation for the differential way of writing, differential form. This equation comes very often in higher level science. So, we need to have the basic understanding or the basic method of arriving at the differential equation. Let us see how the differential equation could be written for the wave. The differential equation describing a mechanical wave can be derived from the basic wave equation, which represents the wave displacement that we have already learnt. Y is equal to a sin omega t minus kx. When we differentiate this equation with respect to time, we get the equation for velocity, that is dy by dt, and we have differentiated. And one more time, when we differentiate, the second order derivative of the displacement equation will give us the acceleration d square y divided by dt square. That is also done, and here we have replaced this a sin omega t minus kx with the earlier equation y. So, it is now written for acceleration. So, what we have done? We have written the very basic wave equation representing the displacement differentiated it once for obtaining the velocity and one more time differentiated for getting the acceleration. This is a very usual way of doing it, we have done it several times, but for the derivation sake, the derivation of the differential equation sake, we are doing it one more time. With respect to time, when we differentiate, we get the velocity and acceleration, the continuous derivatives give us the values. Now, the wave is progressing in the x direction, spatial term x is also present in the wave equation. How much is the change in the value of y, the displacement, with respect to x, the direction of propagation or the distance through which the wave has propagated. So, when we differentiate with respect to the spatial terms, then also we have some useful terms. Let us do that now. To know the amount of variation of the displacement with respect to the direction of propagation, we need to differentiate the displacement with respect to x. So, that is what is done here. Once again the displacement equation is taken. We have differentiated now the y in term for with respect to x. So, it is dy divided by dx. So, we have differentiated and one more time we have differentiated to know how the change, the spatial change is further changing, how much, what is the rate of that change. We should not say the rate, but how much is the spatial change happening with respect to x. So, one more time we have differentiated and as usual we have replaced the a sin omega t with y. So, we have the two second order derivative terms, one is with respect to time, the other one is with respect to x. These two are having their own importance. The derivative, second order derivative with respect to time gives us the acceleration. So, from which we can even get a expression for the force etc., because acceleration is a very important factor in calculating the force. Similarly, the second order derivative with respect to x also is a very important term. So, at what rate in terms of x the y is varying, the change of change, that is also considered. Now, both the terms have some commonalities, the y is there in both the expressions, the displacement is there, through which we can try to club them together. So, that is what is done in the derivation. Now, we can club the two second order derivatives of y taken with respect to t and x respectively. Once again the equations are shown with respect to time, it is given, and with respect to space the second order derivatives are shown. So, now we can club them because y is common for both, we can write for y and thus club the two equations together and we finally obtain this equation. So, it is d square y divided by dt square, which is equal to the v square multiplied with d square y divided by dx square. The term on the left hand side is the time dependent term and the term on the right hand side is the space dependent term. So, y is a function of both time t and the direction or the space x, and here we have the wave velocity in a square form, that is also having another expression omega divided by k is nothing but the wave velocity. So, we have finally arrived at the most important differential form of expressing the wave equation. So, the differential form is what we have now got as the final expression in the derivation. We can generalize that also, we can write it in a very advanced representation. Shall we do that? See here, the most general form of the differential equation that describes a mechanical wave could be written like this. Here we have used the partial derivatives because y is a function of both x and t. So, we have used the second order partial derivatives, and here also on the right hand side also the same way. This is with respect to x, we have taken the second order derivative, and now this equation could be written in a slightly advanced manner. We know the y with two dots on top is the second order derivative with respect to time, and here on the right hand side, instead of the second order derivative with respect to the space or the distance x, we write a term called del. It is called as del square. It is a Laplacian operator. In mathematics, this is called a Laplacian operator, and this operates on a term y, which is a function of x and t. We will be able to appreciate the Laplacian and other representations when we mathematically deal with the wave equation. So, this differential form of writing the wave in a equation is a very important one, even for very high level of doing calculations. This becomes the very basic form of the equation, wave equation. Even for electromagnetic equation also, this form is very useful. We can handle the wave in the differential form. The wave equation in a differential form will be very useful for advanced level of mathematical simplifications and interpretations. So, that is what we have learnt. And what else is there to learn in wave? We have started off with the relation between particle velocity and wave velocity, and again the differential form of writing the wave equation. So, that is also learnt now. What do we have further? Let us see the concepts. It is the energy of the progressing wave. In the case of a plane progressing wave, the energy is continuously formed at the head of the wave. Here the meaning of head is the starting point. The term head is representing the starting point of the wave. This means that there is continuous transfer of energy in the direction of propagation of the wave. Energy is continuously supplied by the source. Here the energy is possessed by the oscillating particles, that is transferred to the next particle. We are familiar with the energy that is associated with the oscillating particles. In the plane progressing wave, the energy is continuously transferred. That is what we have learnt in the basic concepts. Now, we have to establish a relation for that. We know each particle that is vibrating has the kinetic energy because of its movement and potential energy because of its position. So, we are going to write the expressions for the kinetic energy and the potential energy and try to understand what is the total energy that is transferred in a progressing wave. Now, an important point is to be kept in mind. When the particles are vibrating, the particles are not moving ahead, only the energy is transferred to the next particle because they are linked or tied or associated with each other by some means, a force, about which we will be learning later. So, let us quickly run through how the energy expressions are written for potential energy and kinetic energy and thus the total energy. The energy of progressing wave, the potential energy to displace the particle a distance dy in a medium, a work dw is done. This is stored as potential energy in the particle. Hence, the work done for a displacement dy is given like this, the displacement dw, the work done for a displacement dy is given as dw is equal to f dy. Here f is the force, dy is the displacement, and the force can be written as mass multiplied with acceleration. So, like this, from the basic relations we can try to get an expression for the potential energy. If we take for a unit volume, even the mass can be replaced here with the density, because it is considered for a unit volume, mass divided by volume is the density. So, we have a most general term, density of the medium, rho, appearing here. If we have the mass of the medium, then how much mass is vibrating, we have to go into the technicalities to find out how much is the mass of the particle which is vibrating. It becomes little tedious, but when we take the density, that is a constant value for a homogeneous medium, it is not going to vary, the density will be uniform everywhere. So, the work done for a unit volume of the medium in displacing it by a distance dy is what written as an expression. Now, we have to integrate to get the expression for the potential energy for a particular value. Let us do that. Substituting for the acceleration which we have already got in the earlier topics, we write the work done dw as an equation shown on the right hand side, it is rho omega square y dy. Now, we can drop the negative sign that is written for the acceleration, because it only shows the direction of acceleration, which is not important here. So, this negative sign is dropped, and for obtaining the net total work done, we are integrating it from 0 to y, and we have the integral here, and when we integrate we finally arrive at the potential energy as of rho omega square y square. We can write for y also in terms of t and x. So, this is what is very important for us, the potential energy for propagating wave, the particle which possesses in the energy in the potential form is this expression, it is of rho omega square a square sin square omega t minus kx. So, the work done in shifting the particle or the medium is stored as potential energy, we have got an expression for it. Now, we will move on to find the kinetic energy. As the particle is moving with velocity v, due to its motion it is expected to have kinetic energy of mv square. Again, for unit volume the mass is replaced with the density rho. Substituting for the velocity, which is a very familiar term for us, we arrive this equation as the expression for the kinetic energy of rho omega square a square cos square omega t minus kx. So, we have got the expression for potential energy and also the kinetic energy. When we add them, we get the total energy, and when we add, this is the trigonometric identity, sin square cos square plus cos square terms. So, it becomes 1, and we have this highlighted as the expression for the energy of a progressing wave for unit volume. That is important, because we have done this derivation with an assumption that, because we have brought in the term rho into the expression with an assumption it is done for unit volume. Let us have a look at the equation for energy again. E is equal to of rho omega square a square. Here a is the amplitude, omega is the angular frequency, rho is the density of the medium. So, the conclusion is this is the energy per unit volume of the oscillating medium through which the wave propagates. It is also called the energy density because it is calculated for unit volume of the medium. We have got the expression for energy density, energy per unit volume, which is transferred from particle to particle or from part of the medium to next part of the medium, from one molecule to the other molecule, or from one atom to the other atom, whatever way the medium exists. So, this is the average energy that is transferred, the total energy that is transferred. This is what we have got. When we recall the equation, it depends on the factors like the amplitude, angular frequency and density. It has the characteristics of the medium like density and also the characteristics of the wave in terms of frequency, angular frequency and the amplitude. So, let us appreciate that again. We have another term also to learn, it is called the intensity of the progressing wave. If the area of cross section of the beam of the wave is unity and it is travelling with velocity v, then the volume crossed in 1 second could be taken as the area which is taken as unity here 1, and the velocity itself is the length travelled in 1 second. So, for 1 second the numerical value of the velocity itself is the length, 1 is the area and v is the length. So, when we multiply we get the v as the value. So, this is the volume, though it is the velocity, numerically it is equal to the volume. The intensity of the wave is defined as the average energy crossed per unit area of cross section per second is defined as the intensity of the propagating wave. So, when we do that, we have to just multiply the energy density with the term v, that is it, we get an expression for the intensity of the wave. So, we have got the expression for intensity of the wave. Let us see on what does it depend. The intensity of the wave is also defined as the power passing per unit area. Power is the energy per unit time. So, the unit of intensity of the wave is joule per second per meter square, or it is simply called as watt per meter square. Intensity of the wave depends on the properties of the medium and characteristics of the wave. When we say property of the medium, here we have the term density and the characteristics of the wave. These are the characteristics: angular frequency omega, the amplitude a and the velocity v. So, we have learnt the expression for the energy that is transferred and also the intensity of the propagating wave, how much intensity is transferred. Now, it is time for us to see the summary of today's lecture. In this session, we have seen the concepts of particle and wave velocities, differential equation of the wave velocities, energy of a progressing wave and also the expression for intensity of a progressing wave. Before we conclude the lecture, let us test our understanding by answering these questions. Differentiate between the particle velocity and wave velocity, derive the differential form of wave equation, deduce the expression for the average energy of a progressing wave, define intensity of a progressing wave and give its expression with unit. With this, I would like to conclude this lecture. See you with more concepts about waves in the upcoming lectures. Thank you for watching.